Well, good morning. Sorry for the couple minutes late that I am. I was just trying to get Zoom to work well. We're having a whole lot of wind, as you can see in the background there, and that's kind of making my internet a little bit fidgety. So hopefully this is going to work. I wanted to come on and jump on for our GMP Live feature today so that I could go and share a screen with you guys, because I wanted to show you some of these required record keeping items that we talked about yesterday. So we're going to first of all look at, where are we here? We're going to look at the specification record. So in the specification records, you'll see we assign each item a different code. So my butters, I have BUT, my vegetable oils is BO, and it goes through a bunch of these different items that I use in production, in manufacturing. And then I get into what the specification for each item is. Now, this is where we're going to have our checklists to go through and verify for our good manufacturing practices that the items we've received are in fact the items that we ordered and that we wanted to receive. So here you'll see that my criteria for echinacea tincture is that it's fresh, it's got a fresh aroma, it's not off smelling, it's a light to medium golden color, it's free of contaminants. Then if we look here at the coarse salt, we're saying a variety of pink tones, coarse salt, 1/4 inch to 1/8 of an inch in size. And then here I've put who I generally buy it from, and the list goes on, and we define what each product looks like individually, so that as our companies grow and as we have people join us and work with us in our team, we have the ability to go through this specification list for every single product that we are ordering, which then makes certain that our products are always the right ones and the freshest that they can be, and that people who work for us who might not have the experience that we have working with raw materials, they have the ability to say, oh, wait a minute, it's supposed to be pink and it's supposed to be this size, but it's actually not pink, it's orange, and it's this size instead. Maybe I should check and make sure that that is the correct item. And so then they would bring it back to you as the CEO to review. And then until you've approved it, it wouldn't go into the approved product inventory. So hold on one second. So that is the product specification list. Now I'm going to share another screen here. This is a complete listing of all products. You need to have a binder set up with a complete listing of all of your products. And you would put your assigned item code right here beside it. And you would have your common name and your INCI name, as well as your purchase info, like the size and the supplier. So that again, if a new person is working for you, if somebody comes in, you would if you had your documentation like this set up effectively right off the hop, you would honestly have the ability to hire anybody with no experience, even, because if they can read this and they can, define what the specs are on an item and figure out where it goes in terms of your inventory, if you're stacking your inventory according to like your INCI names or your botanical names, they would know where to file it, they would know where to store it, and then they would also be able to work with you on reordering materials. So you would technically go through and do all of that. Then we're going to go back here to a different screen. Now we've got the quantity remaining labels. So you're going to assign every item a lot number as it comes in, a unique lot number. And as well as the lot number, you are going to specify how much of that item came in. So we were talking yesterday about 120 milliliters of, I think we were talking about, what were we, rosehip oil, I think it was. So if I had 120 grams or 120 milliliters of rosehip seed oil, then I would add it into my lot number. I would add the quantity of it. And then every time I take from that bottle, I would cross off here my weight and add the new weight. So if it's 120 mils and I take out 20 mils, then it would drop down to 100. Then it would drop down to 80, and so on and so forth, so that you would always know when the best time is to order that refill. And you would have it specified, when inventory drops to 40 mils, reorder the rosehip seed oil from this and this supplier. And so it keeps it really simple, and it allows for other people to be able to work with you. And it also allows for clarity if ever you do have an inspection or an audit, because they would be able to open your individual binders and see exactly who you're ordering from all of the time. Now, speaking of binders, while we're sitting right here, I will just show you guys here. So I have a set of binders, and they're just plain and simple binders, nothing special about them, but each binder has something different in it. So this one here is the HGH Integrative Aromatics GMP manual. So you'll see that I have it all drawn out in here, and it goes through every little bit of the process. So there's actually right here assignment of batch numbers. So we're assigning the batch numbers when we're making products. We're also assigning the lot and batch numbers when we are receiving items. And that's critical because we need to be able to, in our formulation sheets, which we'll get into as we move through this, we will get into a master formula sheet that I will show you guys. But in that master formula sheet, it's not a matter of just breaking down a formula and saying we need rosehip oil. Okay, so rosehip seed oil is a specialty seed oil. So it would be an SS code for my particular system, the way I have it set up. So let's say it's SS1234. So now I'm going to make my master formulation sheet, which goes into a binder and needs to be stored where Health Canada can access it if they need to. So now I'm going to, if I'm making a lotion and I'm using rosehip seed oil in it, I am specifying rosehip seed oil, item number SS1234, so that anybody can pick that binder up and go to your inventory and be able to find that exact item to manufacture with. And so that covers the safety and the processing of making anything, because you know you're always going to have the exact same product. It's always going to be labeled the exact same way. It's always going to have the exact same specifications as you have outlined already in your specification sheet then. And it just goes through this whole loop of a process, you know, and once you actually see the whole loop in order, it really does. I'm just looking here, lot labels. Yeah, so these lot labels, this is what you'll use also, in addition to using your quantity labels that we looked at. This lot label will go directly onto your item. So it'll be lot number ABCD, item number SS1234 for my specialty seed oil. Supplier, I would have my supplier code written in there. Received date, so then I would have to go through and put the date on there. Accepted for use. So here you would either have an accepted, a rejected, or a quarantined, like we talked about yesterday. And you do this for every single item that you have coming into your workspace. So I ordered a bunch of supplies the other day for doing shampoo and conditioner bars, because I have a bunch of orders for them. So as that box came in, I literally, until I have the time to actually sit down and inventory it properly, I won't even open the box. So I'll make sure that I have my lot labels in place. I make sure my specification sheets are up and open and ready. I make sure that my incoming materials list is open and ready. And that's how I go through it. So then once all my paperwork and documentation is lined up and I've got the time to actually go through and complete it all, then I will open the box and I will go through the lading sheet and I will ensure that every single item is there, and I will record every single item here. And then from here, it goes directly into my inventory, and it goes in the filed order that I have set up, which is by INCI name. That's just how I operate. And then it's easy for anyone who happens to come in and want to refer back to this, whether it's Health Canada, whether it's somebody you're showing your workspace to, whether it's a vendor who wants to ensure you have your proper manufacturing set up in place before they take you on as a retail partner. Like, there's a lot of different instances people might want to have a look at your process and your steps and how you're doing things. And this, once it's set up across the board, it is really an easy process. And it creates, you know, that 360-degree correctness. So you can't have a correct circle if you have a jag in the middle. You know, And so each step has to be taken care of, but each step just points you straight through to the next, and so on and so forth. So it leaves zero room for error because we're doing the same thing the same way every single time. And it ensures that your safety and security in your company is that much greater because you have a stable source of information to refer back to. So if ever there's a problem, you can refer back to even something as simple as your lot label. So let's say my rosehip oil, let's say I've had it for only a month and it turns and it goes rancid, and I'm like, well, I just bought this, right there on my rosehip seed oil. It's going to have the lot number, the item number, the supplier, and the received date. So I can immediately get in contact with that supplier and tell them exactly the specifics of that purchase and when it was and what it was for, and explain to them what the situation is now. So it protects you from a stock position. It protects you from an insurance perspective. It protects you in terms of an audit or an inspection from Health Canada. And just overall, in general, these records are just critical to keep well, and it's really for your own protection and own well-being in your company. So now we're just going to finish up a little bit that we missed yesterday on the good manufacturing practices for operations, because there's like 22 points that I was supposed to get to, and I did like the first 10 kind of thing. So now once we have received and inventoried and labeled and done our documentation for an order that's coming in, what we're going to do is we're going to store those raw materials and the in-process materials in appropriate conditions. We're going to ensure that if there are any temperature requirements or humidity requirements, it is on that lot label. The lot labels are just handy because they're a quick, easy notation. It's a reminder of what you need to record. But any special features like storing it in a more or a less humid space, or in light or in dark temperature settings, any of those things, you can actually write them right on that lot label, because it is there for your reference as well. So we're going to make sure that we store everything to protect it against deterioration of quality and contamination. And then we're going to set a time limit beyond which we're going to have to re-inspect. So if my rosehip seed oil expires 1 year from today, I am going to say 8 months from today, I am going to do a recheck on that item to ensure that it has not turned rancid. Now, I'm not sure, I myself don't order my raw materials in large enough quantity that I don't think I would have any left after 8 months, let me tell you. But for people who do, or for a product that you maybe order that you don't use a whole lot of regularly, it's really important to set these check dates, because just because an expiry date says something, it does not mean that that product is going to necessarily make it to that expiry date. And it is up to you to be proactive and responsible in testing that in advance of the expiry date, to ensure that you are never using a product that is less than the highest quality for your customers and for your manufacturing. Then we're going to ensure that the QAP, which is the quality assurance person, has the chance to approve and release any products. So again, because we're operating small businesses and we're just starting out, that lot label and that intake of inventory and things like that, that's all done by us. But technically speaking, your quality assurance person is the person who needs to sign off on the order itself. So you can do the inspection of it, but your quality assurance person would need to come in and review that all, and then sign off on the completion of that incoming inventory. So when we have a small business, like I said before, we cover a lot of different roles. But when we're working within GMP, we have it designed so that each of those roles is very specific in what their job details are. And so you yourself will be signing off, obviously, on these orders as the quality assurance person. But just make sure you're really clear on the quality assurance person and the roles and responsibilities. If you're not, drop a comment down below. And if you guys are not super clear on that yet, I can talk a little bit more about that. I can actually write up like a complete job description of the quality assurance person for you guys to to sit here and we can go through it step by step, piece by piece, because really they do have the largest layer of responsibility when it comes to manufacturing and when it comes to recalls and things like that, because it's the quality assurance person who okays every product that goes out the door. They also okay every product that comes in the door. And if ever there's a recall, they are the ones to go out and inspect that product and determine why the recall is happening and determine, where the product line has failed and things like that. So the quality assurance person does have a lot of responsibilities that, we need to be aware of, especially since we are acting as that QAP right now. Then we're going to establish appropriate systems and controls to ensure the water used in production of products is of potable quality and must meet the guidelines to the standards specified by the regulatory agency governing the manufacturer. So there is an entire booklet on water quality. I myself use distilled water. So if you're using distilled water, that water quality booklet is really null and void. If you guys do want more information on the water, again, drop it in the comments and I can pull up that reference on the guidelines for water quality, and I can share that with you guys as well if that's something that you would like to have. And then of course, we talk about destroying outdated or obsolete printed packaging materials and recording the disposal. So I actually did exactly this yesterday. I made a bunch of sanitizer. It was going out for sale. I had some private orders. I had some retail orders. And I did have some packaging left the labels were from the previous lot and batch number. And there was only 2 labels left. Regardless, I had to literally record the fact that I had destroyed these labels, that I had thrown them out, that I had destroyed and gotten rid of them, that they were not an issue anymore. And it's really important, not so much when you're doing it yourself, but when you have somebody else come in, they don't know what your last lot number was perhaps. And so if they see those labels sitting there, they're going to go ahead and put those on the sanitizer, and it's going to in fact have wrong information. It would be the wrong lot number, the wrong batch number, and the wrong expiry. Because depending on the product, I guess, like for myself, I do a 1-year expiry on my sanitizer based on the alcohol content. I could probably do further, but I don't feel comfortable with that. So my expiry is 1 year from manufacture of the sanitizer. So this other batch number was clearly created previous to yesterday's. And as such, it would have had a wrong expiry as well. So when it's you yourself doing all the work, we have a tendency to be a little bit more lax about these things. But if we get into the good practices now, and like literally the good manufacturing practices now, it's going to save us time and energy and protect us from our own mistakes in the future moving forward. And it's also going to set up a great way to train new people coming into our business to help us. So I would really strongly urge you to start, writing some of these things down and working on them and developing systems that will work for you. Simple systems like my inventory system. It would be really easy to open that box all excited and take everything out and get started making my shampoo and conditioner bars, because that's what I've been waiting to do, and I didn't have the time though to invest in printing out the labels, reviewing every single piece of it, opening it, putting it into live inventory, recording that it's now in live inventory, all of that stuff. It would have taken me maybe an extra, I don't know, half an hour, but I was kind of in a rush because I had a lot going on that day and I hadn't really scheduled it very well to manufacture. And so I opted to just wait. And that patience part is critical when you are manufacturing products that are going out to the retail market, because you want to make sure every single I is dotted, every single T is crossed. You're protecting yourselves, you're protecting the Canadian consumer, and really you're just doing what's right at the end of the day. So that is all for today, folks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you have any questions about the required records for incoming materials, and if you want to know any more about the water requirements as well. Have a great day, everybody. We'll chat soon. Bye for now.